Hello, Monica. It's Professor Float. I think it's going to be a lot easier just for me to show you versus writing something up. So, real quick, here's your question right here. And the reason why it's not accepting your answers, number one, if you remember in class, Elijah brought up the question about using dots or open dots. And I said, don't ever use dots. It's too confusing. And that's why WebAssign is not accepting your answer. First, these both should be open dots, not closed dots, okay? So that is like the number one issue here that we're running into. So let me show you how to do this. So here's our first example here. -5, which is less than x, which is less than 2. So since the inequalities are less than, we're going to use parentheses. So we go to -5. Then we go to +2. Oh, sorry. Forgot to click on right parenthesis. My bad. And then we click on the draw, and we're going to draw in between these two lines. Okay? Now let's write the interval notation. So this would be parenthesis, -5, comma, 2, and the parenthesis. For the next one, part B, it's going to be -8 is less than x, which is less than or equal to -2. So we have an equal to part. So the -8 gets parenthesis. The -2 will get a bracket. And then we shade in between. Now let's write out the interval notation. So -8, parenthesis, parenthesis -8, comma, -2 with a bracket. And then finally, the last one, which is probably the most difficult because you have to estimate where it is. All right, we have -5.75, which is less than or equal to x, which is less than 0. So these will both get brackets. So we want -5.75. So that's going to be really close to -6. So it's going to be like right about there. Then we'll go all the way up to 0. We'll shade in between. And then let's write out the interval notation. So bracket, -5.75, comma, 0, and end the bracket. And then we just submit our answers. And notice here, we got check marks for all of them. And that's because we're using the proper, I guess, notation, if you will. So if you wanted to use the dots, okay? If you wanted to use dots, let me get out here a piece of paper to write on. Oh, sorry, there we go. So if we wanted to use dots, so remember, here's our inequality. Here's our symbols. So if it's less than or greater than, you would use parentheses or the open dot, okay? If it's less than or equal to or greater than or equal to, you use brackets or the closed dot. And you got to make sure it's completely filled in. And then just remember, plus or minus infinity, we'll always use parentheses. You will never, ever use dots for them. Always parentheses. So I hope that helped. And if you have any more questions, I can just go over this in class. Just ask. See ya.